talk about the fine that the Big Ten handed down to Ohio State for what could have been avoided, but probably wasn't going to be. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If you are new to the #1 college football show, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, ring the bell. I promise you will be back because you are a hardcore football fan, and this show is all about hardcore football. We love to talk about football, commentary, all around it, analysis, storylines, the things that real college football fans across the country care the most about. It's not just surface level stuff that you get somewhere else. I came up just like you, and I'm fortunate to get to do this job at Fox Sports, where, by the way, I ranked all 134 teams. Please go check that out. It is going to be the last 134 that I do for some time. Took me a lot of time, and really, I'm here to talk with you about it. We can beat it up if you want to, but what we're going to talk about today is Ohio State, Michigan's aftermath. Many of you know Ohio State lost. Michigan won 13-10, while Michigan's defense showed up in a very big and cool way, right? 2 interceptions in that game, 175 yards passing from Will Howard. They were playing great, but also Chip Kelly kept running right into the teeth of what we know is the strength of Michigan's defense. It's a 7-5 team, but it's a 7-5 team with a first-round draft pick at defensive tackle, another first-round draft pick at defensive tackle. And if Will Johnson had been on the field, maybe you feel better about that. Colston Loveland being on the field, maybe you feel better about that. As it is, Sherrone Moore is 2-0 against Ohio State. And this time, it happened in Columbus. So that not only is it 4 consecutive wins for Michigan and 4 consecutive losses for Ohio State, and more importantly, Ryan Day, there was a whole bunch that happened after that really kind of underscores the hostility that is really bred all year between these two. So, at the end of the game, a few Michigan players went to go get the Michigan flag, and they had trotted it out looking to plant it on the O block at the 50-yard line. They did succeed, and Ohio State players took issue with that and went to them to tell them and then to shove them and to push them into, hey, we're not here for that. And it became what you might think it would between big, strong football players who were having a fist fight. It's really difficult to control because they're bred and then they are told and then they are put into a violent sport and said, go be violent. And at the end of it, they're also said, hey, this one means more than anything else. So what do? They take it after. And I think as much as it is going to piss off many Ohio State fans, Kalel Mullings was right to say, hey, look, y'all got to learn how to lose better than that. Because on the one hand, should they have tried out the flag? Probably not. But since Baker Mayfield did that in 2017, spawning, among other things, this show, everybody's doing it now. Everybody wants to go to their rival's place with their flag and plant it on the block or plant it on the 50-yard line like it's new. It's not. And you know what? He did it the one time, and the one time it was great. It worked, right? Because Ohio State embarrassed Oklahoma at Oklahoma and was loud about it, right? Then Oklahoma comes back 2017. They get the win. It's pretty cool. Baker plants the flag. I didn't expect all of y'all to be planting the flag, but all of y'all continue to plant a flag. And Ohio State was going, no, we let this happen once 7 friggin' years ago, and it was Oklahoma. We're not about to let you, the team up north, do that to us. And in the postgame, Ryan Day had said, we got a lot of prideful guys over there hurt. They're obviously embarrassed that they lost this game, and we're just not going to let that happen. But there's also this anecdote that Bruce Feldman gave in his piece following, does Ryan Day even want to be here? He was asking a player what happened, right? Because he didn't know. What had happened was law enforcement needed to get involved, and they needed to use pepper spray to break up the fights, which, tracks. But also Sherrone Moore, I'm sure, was embarrassed by it. Ryan Day later is embarrassed by it. And the Big Ten, more importantly, was terribly embarrassed by it. So they issued a $100,000 fine to both of the teams. And I think their strongly worded message actually gets at this. No action. Not only did the actions of both teams violate fundamental elements of sportsmanship such as respect and civility, the nature of the incident also jeopardized the safety of participants and bystanders, which is true. The Big Ten Conference considers the matter concluded and will have no further comment. Also means that they could have handed down suspensions to individual players. They're not going to do that, which means that Ohio State still stays intact for what we think is still going to be selection into the college football playoff when the 12th team is finally revealed next Sunday. We'll see where they rank on Tuesday. We got a read on this in the AP rankings where they're falling no further than 7. You can have a discussion about it. I know there's some Ohio State fans that just don't want to see this team in the playoff at all because of being embarrassed for a 4 straight loss against Michigan. And then there are others that believe that they aren't ranked high enough. There's some that believe that Indiana should be ranked ahead of them. Going head-to-head, it has to matter there, no matter about the losses. And they lost to good football teams, save one, right? They lost to the number 1 team in the country, and then they lost to a 7-5 Michigan team that was 6-6 when they played. 6-5 when they played. I don't know that there was anything else that the Big Ten could do. You have to do something because what was scrolling on the bottom line of ESPN during, say, Texas A&M is not just that Ryan Day had become the first head coach to take 4 consecutive losses to Michigan since John Cooper. It was that they needed to use pepper spray to break up a fight after the game. And I think this is where high school football coaches got it right. Hey, if you still got that much fight at the end of the game, did you play hard enough to begin with? And if your jersey is clean, what are you fighting for? You weren't even good enough to be on the field. That's another thing that I think is important here. I know that everybody has something to say about this game, myself included. I know that there are lots of feelings in this game, but there is a level of civility that I think many people expect at the game's conclusion. You ain't got to like it. I don't even think that I would like it, and you don't have to agree with it, but you do need to represent who you stand for and who your people are. And if you think your people are the kind that go and pick a fight at the end of a game, I think they would tell you something different. I think that in this instance, there are Ohio State fans that are going, hey, look, we had an opportunity to beat them. Now we're talking about 2 kickers who have missed kicks that could change the way that we view Ryan Day and that program over the last 3 years. Like Noah Ruggles makes that kick against Georgia. They're playing for the national championship. They probably beat Texas Christian. Then Jaden Fielding, he misses 2 field goals at home, not on the road, at home with a soft crowd for him in a game that they lose by 3 points. You make them both, you win 16-13, and we get to move on. And there's probably no fight whatsoever. There's only Ohio State finally getting a win for the first time since 2019. As it is, this thing continues. And I think what is keeping this team together right now is they could play for the national championship here in 6 weeks' time. It's within reason to believe so after the season they put together of going 10-2. What is unreasonable is that at the end of the season, when this game is going to be on for so many people, and it is the biggest game in the sport for many every year, that you're going to have this sort of display. It was embarrassing, right? That's what the Big Ten wants to illustrate to folks. This is embarrassing. This will not stand. And we have to keep control of our emotions or we're going to lose control of the game. I get that there's a whole group of seniors that, frankly, are hurt. Guys that aren't coming back. Guys that have to go out 0-4, that have to deal with the fact that Michigan has them. And then there are guys in Michigan that say, I never lost to Ohio State. It's just a fact of life at this point, and it's not unlike grief. You're just going to have to live with it, but picking a fight about it is never going to be the thing you can do. You can be mad. You can be angry. You can be sad, but you can't go picking a fist fight. As far as $100,000 is concerned, what's $100,000 to Michigan and Ohio State? Like, honestly, I mean, that's damn good money for the rest of us. But for them, chump change. They pay the kicker less than that. I mean, you pay the kicker more than that. Probably not anymore, but you get my point.